All right, man, we back. Mostly Sports Talking in the building. Appreciate everybody for checking in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. Appreciate the love, support. And let's talk a little bit about Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman said that when he was a free agent a couple years ago, that he received more guaranteed money from the DetroitLions, but said that the culture fit wasn't something that he wanted to do in Detroit, and the system fit wasn't a good fit for him. And basically, he blasted the Patriot way and Matt Patricia. And I think this is the perception of the Detroit Lions. And when they were trying to get veteran free agents to come here, they no longer want to come here, even if they're getting more money. But let's talk about it. We back. Hit the subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. Now let's talk a little bit about the scheme fit, though. Obviously, it wasn't a good scheme, man. That just let me know that Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia, they as stupid as I thought they were. Richard Sherman is a zone corner. Richard Sherman don't want to play man-to-man coverage for 80% of the game. Then he gets exposed. Richard Sherman is a zone coverage cornerback. That's it. He's a zone cover cornerback. The Lions play a lot of man-to-man, and that's not a good fit for him. In Seattle, they play a lot of cover 3. They play man-to-man occasionally because you got to switch it up. You can't just be in Tampa 2, cover 4, cover 6. You know what I'm saying? Man under. You can't be in, you got to switch it up. You know what I'm saying? So he identified, and he was smart enough to know, even though he got more money he would have got more money in Detroit, that it wasn't a good system fit because he's a predominantly zone corner. You know what I'm saying? And they just didn't have that wasn't a natural fit. And for Bob and Patricia, this would have been a total failure. Richard Sherman would have been wrote off as a bum. They would have been trying to do what he would have been trying to be Darius Slay. He ain't Darius Slay as a man corner. If you say Darius Slay versus Richard Sherman at the cornerback position, man-to-man, as much as the Lions played in the beginning of the season until they got injuries, started playing zone, Darius Slay is 1,000 times the better man corner than Richard Sherman. Especially coming off an Achilles injury, that's what Darius Slay do. Now you say zone, y'all gonna play a predominantly zone system, then hey man, Richard Sherman is a better zone corner than Darius Slay. Okay, but it was a bad fit scheme-wise. Now, him saying the culture fit, he basically said, and I linked the Sports Illustrated article, it was from the Athletics, which is a paid subscription. Out of all these paid subscriptions, you got HBO Max come out, Disney Plus. Who really want to pay for to read an article? That was the dumbest idea they could have did. Who want to pay to read an article that I can wait to Sports Illustrated, or I can wait till somebody else to come out and say it? But that's for another story for another day. But continue to look at it. As far as the culture, he said basically he came to Seattle where they had fun and they played music out in practice. He said he didn't want to come to Detroit because they was running their players in the ground. It was no fun. The Patriot way, you had to be stiff, you had to be stern, you couldn't be yourself, you couldn't show no personality. And I'm pretty much paraphrasing. He said he didn't want to come here and get ran into the dirt. He said, I heard they do conditioning after practice every day. He said nobody want to do that, and that's what I'm telling you. That Patriot way that Patricia doing, that shit that he doing, that's not going to fit in a place like Detroit. New England, Bill Belichick was able to, get guys to come here and buy in because they was winning. You know what I'm saying? They had talent when Bill Belichick got here. But Don't nobody want to come to Detroit. This ain't New England, but ain't Boston. Nobody want to come to Detroit and be miserable. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of like going to a company where they don't get it, where they don't want you to have no headphones. They don't want you to have fun at work. They don't want you to conversate with nobody. They want you to sit there at work, do your job, be bored, take a 30, 2 10 or 2 15-minute breaks, and be miserable at work. That's the equivalent. When you work better with music, you work better when people conversing. You know what I'm saying? Your morale is better. They don't think about that. Matt Patricia trying to run it like a military style thing, and players don't want to do that. Players would rather take less money going to a city like to San Francisco, where it's better perception, even though it's way, way higher to live there. And California got higher state tax and all that. Richard Sherman would rather go there for a lot less money than be miserable in Detroit and get exposed in a scheme that wasn't a fit for him. And when I heard that they had offered him all that money this morning, the first thing before I read the article was like, that ain't even a good scheme fit. Richard Sherman is a predominantly a zone corner. That's what he do best. And props to Richard Sherman for being smart enough to know that, you know what, this ain't a good fit for me. I'm going to get exposed here. They going to call me one of the biggest free agent busts out here. Let me go. He said, I'll talk to Kyle Shanahan and let me go and see if this is a better fit. And it was a better fit for him. You can't put him in that system and ask him to do what Darrelle Revis did or Stephon Gilmore or Talib did. That ain't Richard Sherman. Sherman is his own corner. And basically he said he didn't want to come to Detroit because it's a miserable place to work at. Everything the players was complaining about, Quadre did. You can't have a personality. You can't suggest nothing. You can't be yourself. You got to be a stiff. Richard Sherman wanted what he had in Seattle. You know what I'm saying? That's what he wanted. He wanted what he had in Seattle. He wanted a fun, relaxed atmosphere where he can show character and be himself in Detroit. Only person that's going to show character is Matt Patricia. You know? Don't nobody want to play for Detroit and play for an organization that lack leadership, that lack structure, that lack the top brass to really make things happen and come and lose. And he said, I don't want to come there and lose games to be miserable. That's what was going to happen. It's a miserable organization. And when you say you got a shitty owner, you know what I'm saying? And then you got a terrible coach and GM who don't even know how to identify and spend money. They don't even know how to find system fit players. You know, and when you got a place like Detroit, Cleveland, Indianapolis, you gotta set yourself apart. You have to set yourself apart from other top organizations. You gotta have the best weight room. You gotta have the best locker room. You gotta make it one of the more enjoyable places to work. That's kind of like, you know, being a company that can't offer as much money as another big company. But you know what? Hey, you offer perks. You know what I'm saying? You offer 10 minutes longer lunch. You know what I'm saying? You offer a better cafeteria. You offer super big screens in the break room. You allow people to listen to music. You allow people to have a little bit more PTO than other people. You allow people to wear what they want to wear. You know what I'm saying? You have to set yourself apart. If you don't pay more, or even if you pay more, you know what I'm saying? You have to set yourself apart from other companies that's more comfortable to work at and they got a better reputation. And the Lions don't understand that. Matt Patricia is a true failure. A true failure. You got to have in that organization, you got to have a GM that's really going to know how to run a team. You hear me? That's know how to run a team. And you got to have an organization that people enjoy playing with. You got to have a coach that people will run through a wall for. You know what I'm saying? You got to have that organization. If you don't have that organization where players are willing to run through a wall and go to war for Matt Patricia, you know what I'm saying? And people don't want to play for him and they're miserable in the locker room and, you know, they can't wait to get out of there. Guys asking to be traded. Players talk. Do people not understand that? Players actually talk to each other. And veterans don't want to do wind sprints after practice. What we in? Pop Warner Pal? High school? You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, and if you understand, you still believe, people still believe this team is not rebuilding. I'm listening to, Rieger and them this morning. They all really believe they can get it done with Matthew Stafford. It's not a total rebuild. Get it out your mind. This team is rebuilt. They need everything except for a tight end. This team is in total. I think Stafford can get it done. It's a rebuild. A rebuild can take anywhere from 2 to 7 to 10 seasons. It can take a lifetime. You know, and you see why. You see why big name free agents not going to come here. Because your leadership is terrible. Your general manager is terrible. Your coach is terrible. You know what I'm saying? And that's the bottom line. And they don't even know about guys that can fit their system. Now, credit, they might have said, maybe we run a little bit more zone with Richard Sherman. Man, Richard Sherman would have came here and played man-to-man and got exposed. He would have been getting ran by, he'd look worse than Justin Colvin in the slot. So them throwing all that money at Richard Sherman, that tell me that they really don't have no plan and they really don't know the players that actually fit their scheme. And that's sad. But let me know what you guys think. Don't forget we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Reach out to the email if you have a business question, inquiry, sponsorship, or video request. Keep sharing the videos. Want to make a donation to the channel? That link's in the description. Best way to donate is share the video. And let me know what you guys think about know what Richard Sherman said. I'll link that article in the description. Don't forget to check my other channel out for more sports, music, news, and entertainment at Goodfellas Sports TV. Right here on YouTube, that's Goodfellas Sports TV. Let me know how y'all feel. One time for the one time we gone.